Set right in the heart of New Zealand, the unique Marlborough environment is a perfect place to grow world-class grapes and produce world-class wines. The New Zealand Wine Company has been doing just that since 1988. And from day one, the company philosophy has remained the same: to produce world-class, premium quality wines and to do it with minimum impact on the environment. That philosophy has been backed all the way with the resources and the practical measures needed to turn it into reality. The company's wine labels reflect that commitment to the environment, featuring the New Zealand native pukeko and the southern bell frog. These unique species are highly sensitive to changes in their natural habitat, but are now thriving in the award-winning wetlands established by the company right beside their vineyards and winery. The making and drinking of wine may have been a popular craft from the earliest civilizations, but in the 21st century, it's also a major industry. And like any industry, winemaking consumes resources, creates waste, and generates carbon gas emissions. Land, water, fuel, and fertilizer are needed for the vines. Aluminium, steel, and concrete build the wineries and warehouses. Silica and energy create the bottles. Trucks, boats and planes transport the wine to the customers, most of them half a world distant from New Zealand shores. So the company's commitment to preserving the environment extends well beyond its wetlands.
Well, our wetland, of course, is a very visible feature of our commitment, especially with the frog and the pukeko jumping out of the water onto our Grove Mill and Sanctuary labels. But there's not a single aspect of our organisation that we don't scrutinise for its impact on the environment. And then we're very proactive in taking steps to minimise any such impact. That's why we embarked on the Carbon Zero project with Landcare. We wanted to understand where our carbon emissions were, to measure them, and then take steps to reduce or to compensate for them. We now know what our carbon gas emissions are across the whole operation, and we're taking steps to reduce them. We've initiated a forestry project that will see us an accredited Carbon Zero company. We're the first winemaking company in New Zealand, and possibly the world, to gain this status, and it's something we're very proud of.
The commitment to sustainable production is reflected throughout the company's operation. The new cold cellar, built specifically for white wine production, needs no air conditioning. Instead, a passive cooling system with computer-controlled fans is employed. These fans automatically pull cold air in from outside and circulate it to where it's needed. The warehouse was also built fully insulated, so it keeps wine stored at a constant temperature with no energy required to either heat or cool. Where refrigeration is employed, the heat extracted is recycled and reused. It's transferred through an innovative heat exchange system and the resultant hot water stored for juice and wine warming. Similarly, the carefully controlled wastewater system takes used water into settling tanks, then through a filtration unit. It's then aerated and sprayed onto a coppice tree block next to the winery. But it's the Carbon Zero project, with its careful analysis of exactly where the company generates emissions, that has produced some surprising results.
We've always been environmentally proactive, hence the regeneration of the wetland behind us here. We have our vineyards and our winery in Sustainable Wine Growing New Zealand. We've been conserving energy in the winery for years. But at the end of the day, an awful lot of our wine is enjoyed in the Northern Hemisphere, and we can only do so much about minimising our freight. It's a major part of our 312-tonne carbon footprint, and to mitigate that, we're sponsoring the regeneration of native forest here in Marlborough.
The Marlborough Sounds are a wonderful aquatic playground, very clean and green, and much of the coastal hill country is well suited to forestry. So that's where the New Zealand Wine Company is supporting an ongoing project to regenerate native forest that absorbs carbon gases.
One way of getting carbon dioxide out of the environment is by growing plants, because plants take the carbon dioxide and store it within their structure. Now, as this tree grows eventually into, or is replaced by big forest giants, the forest will store an incredible amount of carbon dioxide, in fact up to 600 tonnes of it per hectare.
Carbon Zero has a double environmental benefit. Firstly, we're in the knowledge that the making through the growing and actually the winemaking process and the distribution of our wines have no net carbon dioxide emissions into the atmosphere, so we're carbon zero. But also it allows us to fund people like Ron Marriott here in the Marlborough Sounds to regenerate and restore natural habitats.
It's a great thing because people like us have now found the way that we can work with the environment, and by doing so and working together, we should be able to ensure that there's a future world available for our grandchildren.
So the New Zealand Wine Company philosophy is backed by hard cash and real measures that are not only sustainable, but are necessary for the long-term viability of the industry. So for us, being accredited Carbon Zero is not about the warm fuzzies. It's an integral part of our operation, and it's making a difference, reducing our costs, protecting our markets, and ensuring that we'll be making wine in this region for a very long time. It definitely makes good sense and good business for us all.